often people, they talk about their certifications, and you know, and that can, you know, if you've been in this field for decades, that's a lot of certifications, right? You can talk about your NLP certification, your wellness coach certification, your meditation, your energy work, all of that stuff. And so sometimes what happens is we think that's what we do. But if you think about it for a second, in your client base, you know, especially if you've been doing this for a while, you very much often attract certain people. You know, like for me, every time I taught yoga, there was always somebody who was like, you know, had some kind of deep trauma, and they would come up to me, and or also they had some kind of thing to do with their spiritual business, and they would come up to me and they're like, how do we do this, right? So there's something for you that you have experienced and naturally transmits with your client. And so what we want to start to understand is that if we understand the life-altering transformation that we offer our clients, we can understand what it's actually costing them. Okay, so let me you know, give you an example. I was a good friend of mine, actually. She called me after I think it's been years. We've known each other for, I don't know, I want to say 20 years. And she called me and she's like, you know, look, I've been in this working for this very esteemed university, but I'm burnt out. I burnt out because I was miserable, and she has this chronic inflammation, and she just could not handle going to work anymore. And for her, you know, what I see is the cost, right? The cost of staying somewhere where she, you know, is going to burn out it's costing her literally her life and her health. It's costing her time with her children. It's costing her relationship. We start to talk about like it, you know, yes, that may feel like the safe place, but if that's going to cost you, you know, she was basically, things were happening, you know, for her, like physically, she was losing her hair, things like that, constant inflammation, constant panic attacks. And so the cost for her for not seeking help, right, for maybe all of the things she's going through was quite high. Like if she continued, let's say, in that job and she did not reach out for help, think about what it would cost her if she would continue 10 years from now doing the same exact thing, right? And so what I want you to think about right now for you and your clients who maybe, you know, they suffer from chronic panic attacks. Maybe they're, you know, they have ADHD and they have a really hard time, like, thriving in their life and in their business and with their children. Maybe somebody deals with chronic depression. Maybe somebody has, you know, body dysmorphia and they need a way of releasing their body shame. Like, what is it, right? And this may take a minute, so, you know, you don't have to find it today, but very often, life is often giving you those mirrors and those reflections of what it is that you're here to do. Because the other thing she said was, I don't, you know, when people say, what is my purpose? I don't get that. Like, what are they talking about? And what we want to start to look at is, well, often our own life is what is directing us towards our own purpose. You know, years ago used to suffer from, you know, major anxiety, major panic attacks. My body was covered with eczema, and I realized as I started teaching that I started to understand it so well. I started to understand how I can move myself out of those, you know, chronic, debilitating mental, physical, and emotional energetic states. And naturally, people would come to me. The other thing I started to figure out is that I started to figure out, well, how can I do what I love and also create a business? Now, am I the best business person there is on earth? No, but there are people in my community that are like, I see you doing, you know, your business. How are you doing that? How are you having, you know, the courage to put yourself out there and market yourself and blah, 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 right? So ask yourself this question. what is the life-altering transformation that you offer? What is the cost? What is it costing your client, right? Not just in money, but also in money, because if they have to take therapy or if they have to go, stop working, because that's essentially what happened to my friend. She had to stop working, right? She'd have to kind of take moments where she just had to spend actually months just sort of recalibrating her nervous system, and she's still in that acute place. So, we have to start to think, well, what is that costing our client, if they don't get our help? Because this is one of the biggest things I hear in our community is like, oh my God, like, what if I'm not good enough, right? Well, what if I try to help people, but guess what? When you're not, putting yourself out there or offering your service, you're already not helping them, right? So if you've had 10, 20 years, 30 years of experience, obviously it's kind of like if you had 10, 20 years of driving and somebody has only one day, you obviously have something to offer, right? So when we start to understand our business from this perspective, we can start to understand, this selling at a premium is a possibility, because now I start to understand it's not just a number, oh my God, right? Because cars, couches, houses, they all, are an investment, right? And often people don't necessarily see the cost when you can't see the tangible outcome or the physical product, but your health, your life, are major costs. Without your body, without your mind, without your health, you pretty much can't live your life, right? So write me in the comments for you, what is that thing where you've brought yourself through? What is the thing where it just naturally happens, where people are attracted to you? And what are the things that you love? So with one of my clients, she had a part of the formula where she was literally living her dream. She's literally living her dream. She's surfing every day, which is not the conventional, life. Let's face that, right? But there was part of that, right? There was part of that. So everyone is on a little bit of a different, timeline in their healing journey. My friend who just called me, the other day, she's really in that acute phase. One of my clients who, she started that journey and she's starting to live, what she wants to do, where she's surfing every day. And that just is what her soul literally compels her to do. She quit her 9-to-5. She's, started to travel the world, and that's what she's doing. But she came to me because she's like, okay, I'm doing that thing, but it's not quite it. It's not the vision that I see and that keeps on beckoning me, right? Because anyone on the healing journey and that is offering transformational coaching, healing, sound therapy, whatever it is for your thing, your somatic, trainings, whatever it is for you, NLP coaching, whatever it is for you, whatever toolboxes you have, and I'm sure you have a lot, right? We're often compelled, right, with taking what we learned and sharing it. So she was living that, part of her dream, but she's like, but it's not quite it, because I'm also now just working these sort of odd jobs at, kind of a dollar per hour model where I'm getting $20 an hour, but I'm not fulfilled. And I'm starting to get depressed because here I am on these paradise islands, and yet there's part of my soul that is still calling me. Right? And so she came to me and she's like, I need to figure out how to do this. I need to figure out how I can do this. And so one of the biggest, things that, at first people come to me where it's like, how do I do the two like M words, market and make money, right? It's like those two M words that for some reason in our community, marketing and making money, and the S word, selling money, are like swear words in our community, because it's like, right? It creates there's a lot of energy around it, a lot of emotion, a lot of like resistance. So her thing was like, I gotta, start this, and I gotta put myself online, but I don't know what to do. And the reason why it was hard for her to put herself online, because she didn't have necessarily the clarity of really understanding the life-altering transformation she offers her clients.